I greet you all this morning, students. How are we today? Hope we are all fine today. We'll be having a look at your usual geography this morning on the topic relief and drainage of Nigeria. Relief and drainage of Nigeria. That's what we have this morning. In our usual way, we need to have a view or share the objectives for this lesson. Let us look at the learning objectives. That is, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the major highlands drainage in Nigeria. Then, two, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of these highlands and lowlands in Nigeria. Lastly, explain the characteristics and importance of Nigeria drainage, talking about rivers, lakes, and all others. Before we look at the content of what we have today, you will recall that we did something on normal lapse rate in our last term, even an exam. That is talking about the higher you go, or the height of a place, the higher you go, the lower the temperature. That is normal lapse rate. We talk about decrease in temperature by 6.5 degrees Celsius for every 1,000 meter of ascent. You will still record that. Relief simply means the surface feature of a place above sea level. That is how high the place is, or how low that particular place is above the sea level. Then the relief of Nigeria has two groups, the lowlands and the highlands. Let us first of all look at the lowlands, or you call them plains. Plains are lowlands too. They are areas below 300 meters above sea level. Topography means ruggedness or levelness or smoothness of a place. It is different from how high or low a place is. That one is the relief. We have areas in Nigeria like Sokoto Plain, Borno Plain, Niger Delta. Niger Delta is in South-South, Cross River, South-South, and so many others in Nigeria, where we have these lowlands. Then we need also to look at where are they preferable to us? What are the importance? What really do we make use of these lowlands for? Why do we prefer them? Why are they good to us? One, for human habitation. You can easily build house there. You don't need to till too much or do too much other jobs. That is one. Two, they give us minerals. We find minerals there. There are sources of minerals like coal, and even gold can be dug from there. Then they favor communications because they are level or they are not high, they are low. You can easily construct road on them and many other things. These are some of the advantages or importance of lowland. Then we also need to look at where lowlands are not preferable or the plains are not preferable. That is the disadvantages. One, if they are flooded, that is water occupy them that refuse to percolate or to move away. If they are flooded, they reduce human habitation. When we say they are low and you can build house there, you can do things there, by the time you come to a particular land, you see high volume of water occupying that place. You know what I mean? You that wants to build house or construct a road there, you will leave what you want to do first and be talking about how to remove the water. So may cause barrier to communication. That's another thing. You want to construct a road, you want to do some network of things, you see that the place is, especially the flooded ones, you will not be able to do anything when you meet flood there. These are some of the disadvantages of the plain. Then we need to look at, this is a plain. You see how level or smooth or how low it is. Compared to what we look at, we'll come in to the area of highlands. You also see that. Then let us look at the highlands in Nigeria. The lowlands, remember I said there are areas below 300 meters above the sea level. That's their relief. Then the highlands are areas above 300 levels, areas over 300 levels above the 300-meter high above the sea, while lowlands are areas below 300 meter high above the sea. So these ones are over 300 meters, while lowlands are below 300 meters. That is above the sea level. In Nigeria, they are grouped as North Central Highland. There are northern states around there. They are found around Kaduna, Kano, and other areas. Then we have some minor rivers like Hadejia, River Sokoto, River Kaduna. They are minor rivers. We'll talk about river later in the day to look at the major ones. These are minor rivers. They take their source from that highland. Then we have the Western Highland. It's found around western part of the country. Last week, you recall, we talked about the east, the west, the north, and the south of Nigeria. Then they are found around Ondo or Yokwa. If you go to Ondo State, you see some highlands. River Ogun, River Oshun, River Ose. These are rivers that are found in the south too. They take in the west too. They take their source from these highlands. Then we have the Eastern Highland. They are found in the eastern part, between boundary between Nigeria and Cameroon. Remember last week I told you Nigeria is bounded by Cameroon Republic in the east. River Ghana, River Angoda, and River Yeseran. These are rivers that are seen in that area, close to the island. They take their source from there and then they flow. This Ghana is G-A-N-A, not the real Ghana as a country. Please take note. Then Eastern Scapland is also seen around Enugu and Sunta. That is the eastern part of the country. Then we have River Imo. River Imo is also in southeast. Then Cross River. Cross River is in south. They both take their source from there, and then they empty into the Atlantic Ocean. Then we need to look at some of these highlands. This is Zuma Rock. Around last term or last 2 terms or thereabout, I spoke about Zuma Rock, and I told you that some people say it has eyes. This is what they regard as the eye. Geographically, we do not call it eyes because a rock is a non-living thing. Please take note. But the traditionalists, those that believe, because some people worship rock, it is not advisable. Some people worship man-made gods. They are the people that believe in this. But what we know, it causes obstruction to the road. There's a road that was coming from here, from Zuba. The road went to this left-hand side and right-hand side. You could not pull the rock. It was built, the rock is still at the center of that road. The road went this way and went this way. It's one of the disadvantages of a rock or highland. Then let us look at the importance. Why do we prefer highland? They form rainfall. They are sources of mineral like gold, iron, and so many others. They serve as windbreak too. For example, as you have this, if you build a house, your house here, and there is wind coming from the other side of it, and your house is a bungalow, the roof that will be removed by that wind, this particular rock will hold it, and your house will be protected. That's what we mean by that. Let me have some highlands to show to you. This is just Plateau. It's a highland. You can see that. This Obudu Plateau, this another highland you can see here. Then we need to look at where highlands are not preferable, disadvantages. They are associated with cold because I talked about, even today, I've discussed about the normal lapse rate. The higher you go, the colder the temperature becomes. And so why they are high? Because they are high, the temperature there becomes cold. People don't really want to go there. They promote soil erosion. That is, this particular one you are seeing here. If the rain is coming, it washes here. And so because this place is built, it can be compared to this one that is plain. You can see how level it is. The land within here will be eroded by the rain that comes from that place. That's what we mean by that. And their soils are poor in nutrients and difficult to till because of the nature of the area. It's like you are digging a rock. You hardly dig the soil. That is what we mean by that. Now let us look at the drainage of Nigeria. Drainage means water bodies like the ocean, the river, the lake, and so many others. Nigeria is drained by two major rivers. I have talked about minor rivers in my speech where I was discussing highlands, both in the north, in the south, in the west, and whatever. Then we're looking at the major ones. The two major rivers are River Niger and River Benue. River Niger has its source from Guinea Highland. It flows through Mali, Niger Republic, and then enter Nigeria. It is the longest river in Nigeria. The longest river in Nigeria. The second one is the River Benue. That's the second largest river in Nigeria. These are the two major big rivers in Nigeria. Both of them meet in a place called Lokoja. Lokoja is Kogi State, or the capital city of Kogi State. And so that place they meet, the meeting point of two rivers is called confluence of that river. So the Lokoja is now called Confluence Town. Confluence Town because two major rivers in Nigeria met there. That is why it is called Confluence Town. You take this Obodo Plateau, you take a look at, we're talking about confluence of river. You look at confluence at Lokoja here. This is River Niger flowing from this side, River Benue flowing from its own. They both met here. This is their meeting point. That's why Lokoja is called the Confluence Town or Confluence City. So please don't forget the meeting point of two rivers is called confluence, not conference. It is C-O-N-F-L-U-E-N-C-E, confluence of river. We also need to look at characteristics of Nigeria rivers. We're talking about highland. That is, like highland and lowland is discussing relief. Then drainage, we're not talking about rivers and lake and other things there. The color changes with season. That is Nigerian rivers. Their color changes. During rainy season, the color will be dirty because they carry some sand. Erosion comes in. Another thing, they carry something, it will be moody and dirty. But during dry season, it will be clean because no erosion comes again. Seasonalities. Some flow during rainy season because they are having water from it added to them by erosion and even the rainwater. But they reduce flow or dry during the dry season because these additional waters are no more coming. Others include, there are other characteristics like the shallowness. Shallowness means they are not deep. We'll discuss shallowness in detail when we're coming to lake chart. Then volume changes with season. The volume, some of them, they have their volumes increase during the rainy season because rain entered, erosion come to join also. So the volume of the water will increase. During dry season, the volume will go down. Then presence of debris. As they flow through, these rivers flow through forests and bushes, they carry dead wood and other things as they flow through them. So that's why we have so many other characteristics. Then we need to look at importance of Nigeria rivers. We need to touch them too. One medium of transportation. We use rivers or water or lake, talk about drainage now, to move goods and people from one place to another. Somebody enter canoe, then carry passenger, go and drop in another, move from Ketu to Island or to wherever, to Badagry. They are also used for irrigation. Irrigation means artificial supply of water to farmlands where there is low rainfall. They are used for irrigation. You channel water from the river and then you take it to the farmland. Another thing is they provide job, source of income for both canoe builders, the ship builders, even the people that fish, fishermen. That's what they do. They go to the river and fish or the lake to fish. They get water there. So that's what. Then there are sources of food. We get fish from there, crab, and other things from the river. Domestic use. That is for washing, for bathing, for cooking, and so many others. These are the importance of Nigeria river. This is one of the importance. This is a canoe or a boat. This is a river. The people that build here, this boat or canoe, they make money from it. That's income. Then it is used now. This canoe was used for to carry people for transportation. This another one here. Even here is the shore where the people hide where the canoe stop and all. People build them and they also make money from it. That is what they do as their own job. Then we need to look at river basin. They are the areas that are drained by river and their tributaries. We have discussed tributaries in our subsequent class or classes or previous classes. There are 5 major river basins in Nigeria. They are Niger Basin, Chad Basin, Benue Basin. You know, Niger is here, Niger Basin. That is what we mean by that. They collect the river, this side collect water. Niger collect water from other rivers. That's the Niger Basin. The River Benue also collect water from some people. Some smaller rivers empty their source into River Benue. There's some empty their source into Lake Chad. That's what we mean by Chad Basin, Cross River Basin, and then South Atlantic Basin. Even all these rivers that empty their source into River Niger and other rivers, the River Niger and Benue in turn empty their source into the Atlantic Ocean. The basins are good for building houses. The rivers in them, they are used for transportation. They provide fishes and other things, just like we use the normal rivers for. That is for the river basin. Then lakes in Nigeria. This is another thing. We talked about the drainage. We mean the river, ocean, and lakes and others. Lakes in Nigeria are grouped into 2, man-made or artificial, then natural. The man-made ones include Lake Kainji. Lake Kainji is built on River Niger. That's where the plant that is supply most Nigerian parts and even some parts of Africa country, light is built. Then we have Lake Shiroro on River Kaduna. River Kaduna is a minor river. Then we have the natural lake. The only existing one in Nigeria is the Lake Chad. It is the only popular example. This Lake Chad receives water from many rivers. Like I told you, we call them minor rivers. Therefore, it is called inland drainage because itself as a lake receives water from many other rivers. So Lake Chad is called inland drainage. That is the other name for it. This is the Lake Chad. Other rivers come to empty their source, or some minor rivers come to empty their source inside here. It receives water from them, and so it is called inland drainage. This is a Lake Chad we're talking about. Then, what do we use these lakes for? Just like the rivers, they serve the same function. Employment, transportation, provision of food like fishes, domestic for washing and for bathing. Just like, because it is also draining, just like the river, the lakes perform these functions, like we have explained on that of rivers. Then why is Lake Chad shallow? There are reasons. Lake Chad is not really deep. There are reasons for the shallowness of inland drainage or Lake Chad. Number one, nature of the river that flow into it. The river flows sluggishly, and because of that, they evaporate as they are going into the. If they carry, for example, 50 liters of water, they are flowing. Before they get to Lake Chad, they would have evaporated like 20 liters. That is why it's still shallow, even though it collects water from many other rivers. It experiences high evaporation because it's located in the Sahara Desert. It is around the Sahara Desert, so it experiences high evaporation. You know, when heat is in, the water evaporates too much, and then the volume will be going down. Another one, it is also suspected that the lake has underground seepage. It's leaking somewhere, going to another place, which has not been ascertained. That is, these are the reasons why Lake Chad, even if it has collected water from, or it collects water from many other rivers, is still very shallow. That is the reason for shallowness of Lake Chad. We need to have a recap of what we have discussed. talking about highlands and lowlands. We said the lowlands are areas below 300 meters above sea level, while areas above 300 meters, over 300 meters above sea level are the highlands. We talk about the highlands in Nigeria, grouped as the North Central Highland, Eastern Scarpland. We talk about the Western Highland and so many others. We also discuss the rivers like River Ocean, River Ogun, River Ose, and River Edstra, and other rivers that take their sources from these highlands. We've discussed also the advantages of plain, that plains, they are lowlands and they favor communications. We've also talked about some of the disadvantages. Also, we talked about if flooded, nobody can do something there. That is, it does not favor human habitation if flooded. We've also talked about the advantages of highland, that they form rainfall, and then we get some minerals like gold from there, and so many others. We also talked about the disadvantages, that the weather or the temperature over there is cold, and so it does not favor human habitation. We said their lands are very hard to till, and they are poor in nutrients. We've also talked about the drainage. So said Nigeria is drained by two major rivers, River Niger, River Benue. We talked about the smaller ones, and then we talked about the source or the beginning or the origin of River Benue and the origin of River Niger. We talk about the confluence town, that is Lokoja, where they met. We talk about the uses of or importance of Nigeria rivers, that they are used for communication, they provide food, even the lakes too, that they provide food like fishes, they're used for transportation, they are used for irrigation and so many others. We also talked about the characteristics, that their color changes with season. During rainy season, they are dirty. During dry season, they are clean. We talked about seasonality, that some flow during rainy season and they stop flow during dry season. We talk about also volume changes with season, that during rainy season, their volumes are high, or the volume of water. Then during dry season, they reduce. We've also talked about the river basin, where those that collect or the area drained by rivers and their tributaries. We talk about the 5 river basins in Nigeria. Then we also discussed about the reasons for shallowness of Lake Chad, that it is located around Sahara Desert. Then the high evaporation rate is attached to that. Then we'll talk about the nature of the river lake, that some the nature of the rivers that flow into it, that some of them they evaporate, some of them they flow sluggishly, and so they evaporate or lose some of their volumes of water before they enter into the lake, and so many. We also talk about it as a suspected seepage or underground leakage. That's why it is not really much in volume, even though it collects water from many minor rivers. Before we meet again, I want to advise you, when you watch a video, if you have a question, you can quickly private chat me and let me know. I will give you the solution to the question. Do your assignment properly. Remain blessed. Thank you very much.